Welcome back. The main stories tonight. The Taoiseach has said that Ireland has the support of all 26 European Union members to ensure any Brexit deal delivers legal guarantees that there will be no hard border on the island of Ireland. Ahead of a summit of EU leaders in Brussels, the British Prime Minister Theresa May has said that a deal is still achievable. This evening, the EU chief negotiator Michel Barnier said much more time was needed.
A man who pleaded guilty to the attempted murder of 4 young children has been jailed for 8 years. Mr. Justice Michael White described the attacks on the children as horrific. The court heard that the
presidential candidate Peter Casey to withdraw from the race following comments he made about the travelling community. His comments have been described as reckless and irresponsible and not befitting someone who is standing for the presidency.
Well, staying with this story, we are joined now by the independent presidential candidate, Peter Casey. Peter Casey, you're very welcome to studio. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Widespread condemnation of those remarks you made around travellers today. I mean, yes, there has been some support on social media too, but do you stand over those comments?
The backdrop to the comments were I was nominated by Tipperary County Council, and we were talking about, when I was down there, about the housing crisis in Ireland and in Dublin, and it was brought to my attention that there were 6 houses that had been built at the cost of 1.7 million, and they were sitting empty. And the travelling community have refused to take possession of the houses because they wanted to have stables and they wanted to have an acre of land attached to them.
Now, Pavic Point dispute that. The organisation that represents travellers, they said they were not looking to be provided with land, they wanted land to rent, and they also made the point that horses are part of the traveller culture and identity.
Yeah, I believe that the travelling community has been poorly, represented by Pavic Point. I think they should have gone down to Tipperary and explained to the travelling community there that there are people sleeping in the streets in Dublin. People are homeless in Dublin, and here they are. I think they're presenting the wrong. They let down the travelling community. I believe that it showed very poor leadership by Pavic Point. They should have gone down there and said, you're not looking good here.
Okay.
And they should have represented.
You're talking about one specific case, but in fairness today, I listened back to that interview. You mentioned the specific case, and then you moved on to the notion that travellers should not be treated as a separate grouping. You said that travellers aren't Romani; they are people camping on someone else's land. That was a general remark about travellers.
I believe that it's wrong to encourage ethnic groups to feel that they're different. We're a melting pot here in Ireland. We've got 120,000 people from Poland. We've got tens of thousands of people and it's wonderful. We've got people from all over Europe. Ireland has been the recipient of so much incredible generosity over the years, and here now we have an opportunity to give back, and we have a wonderful diverse community here in Ireland which represents what Ireland is, so the future of Ireland.
Travellers say they are a different group. They want to celebrate their diversity. That doesn't mean they want to be separate.
No, well, if you encourage somebody to be different, there's responsibilities with your ethnicity. If you claim, and they have been given special ethnicity.
Yeah, they're not claiming it. They've
been given it. Yes, they were given it last year, and with that comes responsibility. You have to represent your ethnic group properly, and I believe Pavic Point should have gone down there and said, you're sending the wrong message to Ireland. You're sending the message that you're selfish. You're sending the message that you've got to.
Hang on a second, Peter Casey, I have to bring you back there. Pavic Point have told me today that they were not looking for the state to pay for land for their horses. They were looking to be able to keep the horses they have with them and to have land to put them on.
Pavic Point obviously have not talked to the county councillors that I've spoken to in Tipperary. And I spoke to the county councillors in Tipperary, and they said that they were essentially being blackmailed into giving them stables, and they wanted an acre of land per house. So, Pavic Point.
Okay, but that's what you're hearing from some councillors.
That's what I'm hearing.
Another councillor who gave us a different story again today. Peter Casey, can I bring you back to the broader issue here, though? Are you trying to get votes to get into the Áras on the back of criticising Travellers of Ireland, a group of 30,000 people with higher suicide rates, higher mortality rates, higher infant mortality rates? I mean, this is a group of people
that is sad and that is tragic, but the way to correct that problem is not to make them feel and act totally different to every other member of society.
Today?
that is the point, is that they are being encouraged to think that they are different. They're not. Everyone should be encouraged. We're an all-inclusive society. We've got such a wonderful diversity of people living in Ireland today, and they should think and act as Irish people, not necessarily as different to everyone else.
Even if that's what they believe about themselves, even if that's what they're...
And then their children end up thinking they're different. And it's harder then for their children to fit into society, and it's harder for their children's children to fit into society. If we allow that to, if we encourage it, then we're making it harder for their children to fit into society.
Well, let's move on from this. I mean, clearly from what you have said today, from what we've heard from travelling movements today, you will not be a president for the Travellers of Ireland. Are there other groups that you would not like to represent as president of Ireland?
I believe that I have got a platform which represents our greatest asset is the 75 million Irish people abroad. There's 1.5 million Irish people, 1.5 million who have left Ireland, born in Ireland and left Ireland because there wasn't opportunities for them to feed and live in Ireland, and they were forced to leave Ireland. Well, not all of them were forced to, but a lot of them were. Like myself, growing up in Derry, there weren't any opportunities in Derry, so I had to leave, and I've been able to now come back. And so that's what I'm talking about. We have the greatest asset we have is the 75 million around the world that feel and act and are proud to be Irish.
So presidency for the diaspora.
President for everybody who holds an Irish passport.
Including travellers.
Including travellers, yes, indeed.
And what really do you hope to represent? Are you serious about wanting the presidency?
Of course.
What do you think you'll do with
I've got experience. I've lived in 3 continents. I've operated in 6 continents. I've set up. I understand how to connect. I understand how to represent the Irish, not just here, but the Irish abroad. I mean, I set up my company here 23 years ago, and they promised me high-speed internet, and we're still waiting on it. But when it comes to technology and broadband, I'm an expert in those things. For example, we've spent the last, 4 or 5 years digging up the roads, putting cables in the ground. We should have gone straight to 4G. Every home in Ireland today, if we'd done that, would have 20 to 25 megabits.
And Peter,
that's what we need.
What will you bring to the presidency? What will you bring
I will
to
bring
achieve
the
what
knowledge, the knowledge and the ability to influence. If you know all about the technologies and you understand the technologies, you understand business, you understand how to communicate at a high level, then when people come to the RS, the president, the heads of state, and they understand that you understand their societies, you understand how it works, So that's you can make things happen by influencing. The president is the influencer in chief. He can influence a lot of things, and that's what I intend to achieve with my presidency.
Do you think you have a hope of getting it?
I think I have a very good chance of getting it. I'm the only candidate that actually says what he believes. There's far too much political correctness here in this society today. People need to hear what, everybody says things and they all cough and they sort of crouch it with all sort of shrouded comments and whatnot. I say what I think and I think what I say. Sometimes people don't like to hear it, but it is what it is.
Do you ever regret it? Do you ever regret saying what you think? Or even thinking what you think?
I don't regret thinking what I think. Sometimes I do regret saying what I say at times.
Okay, well, Peter Casey, thanks very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you very much, Keelan.